Brothers and sisters, it is said that we contain junk DNA. It's said that much of the DNA that is within our vessels as the original beings is it is it that that doesn't deal with coding of everyday life. Henceforth, the reason why their system is 5 to 10% of brain power. The only way to make this what you call junk DNA is to go back into the mystical ways. You understand mystics. Mystics cannot be defined by sire. It's to go back into the mystical ways. You want to understand mystics. Mystics cannot be defined by science. DNA, when you talk about DNA, DA is more so like programs. All right? Scientists have created a synthetic DNA, and it's literally programs. All right? It's programs that run these bodies, which means that we have to obtain certain level of knowledge and consciousness in order to activate this. When you go into the mystics, you start doing the chants. You doing your chants, you know. All right, turn this down. And you go into the state of this mental state of consciousness where you go deep within yourself. Let's just give you an example. Let's just give you a guided meditation. Let's try this here. Don't do it if you're driving. Don't do it. Don't do this if you're driving. Listen to your message when you're driving. Do not do this, because you got to put yourself in another place, and you need you to focus on the road. Get in your meditation position. You see yourself standing. You see yourself standing next to yourself. In your meditation, you see yourself looking at yourself. You can envision that. I see myself now. Get off of me! I see myself moving into the atmosphere, into the clouds. There's clouds around me. I'm moving up into the clouds. Oh, no, I'm above the clouds. I'm looking all around. I see the sun. Yes, I see the moon afar. I see the energies all around me. I feel the power. I feel the pressure of everything. Now I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna go west. I'm gonna go east. I'm gonna go to the Rockies. Let's go to the Rockies. You go to any mountain. You go over the Pacific Ocean. You can go over the Atlantic Ocean. All right. If you want to go into the ocean, you have to have a special ability to go into the ocean. I've learned how to go. I haven't learned how to go into the ocean. How see yourself on top of the mountain, standing over the mountain, hovering over the mountain. You focus on the energy all around you. Now, see yourself creating the touch on the top of the mountain. See yourself creating lightning bolts. You can feel the power. You can feel the power. Now see yourself going to the very top of the mountain, the descending down. Touch the mountain. Feel this texture. Feel the smoothness and the sensation. Feel the coolness of this mountaintop, even though the coolness is a man-made thing. Now come back to your body. This is a part of the mystic mindset you can place yourself in as someone else, and therefore, when you do this here, you are realigning yourself with nature. This is why you have junk DNA. This is why you have junk DNA, because they don't understand. Let me tell you what the definition of junk DNA is. All right, and this is what these beings said what junk DNA is. Say junk DNA is also known as a non-functional DNA. The DNA sequence that doesn't have any biological function. And the term is controversial as scientists are discovering that much of what once was considered junk DNA actually has important functions. First, now that junk DNA has important functions. Let's see what it says. Junk DNA is made of pseudogenes. Pseudogenes, seriously. This is when you start to get into the mystics, because you say mystical science is pseudoscience. All right? You say mystical science is pseudoscience, which is that it's not an approved science. It's science by mankind. Who gives a fuck what these motherfuckers think? Who give a fuck what they think? Who give a fuck what these white think? They don't know anything. They're the newer species on the planet. They think they're powerful. It says junk DNA is made of pseudogenes, which is DNA sequences that are similar to genes but don't code for proteins. So you're talking about the DNA within us, and it don't code for certain proteins that's within their bodies. All right, and they call it junk DNA. They said this is extra DNA that's not necessary, but this DNA is designed for our mystical abilities. When you tap into the mystical science of who you are, this is when you activate what you call the junk DNA. It also includes fragments of transposers and viruses. What viruses? So basically what they're saying is junk DNA is also a broken genes. Non-coded DNA contains. Science once thought that junk DNA was useless, but now some of it controls the gene activity. When you tap into what you call spirituality, see, they study us, these non-coding genes. They see non-coding genes, these genes to become active within us. And certain energies, certain frequencies, certain vibrations bring these genes to life. You'll understand this. Junk DNA might also play a role in the speculation and development of infertility, of course. So you gotta understand that it says the amount of junk DNA in an organism varies. Some organisms have more than others. Bacteria, virus have very little junk DNA, while some well, some euchari, I'll get that word there. Eukaryotic genomes have a lot. Okay, and and that's us. So they think we have a lot of junk DNA, all right? Eukaryotic organisms or cells that contain membranes, bound nucleus. Okay, so that's us. That's the eukaryotic. Actually, you got it right. Eukaryotic. You got the prokaryotic, and the eukaryotic are us. So they're saying that we have a lot of junk DNA. That means that a lot of the DNA that's within us is not of an animal DNA. It's of a different type of DNA, and it's broken. Why is some of it broken? Because you haven't tapped into the mystical science of who we are. When we begin to tap into this mystical science with who we are, then what you call junk DNA begins to feel, and therefore the energies and your powers and your abilities and your 100% brain power comes alive. So it's important that as the original beings, we must carry ourselves in this manner to understand that we have a power within us that must be awakened. And you're awakened through your meditation, you're feeling, you're fulfilling this energy. You have your DNA. There might be one protein that's missing, another protein that's missing, and another protein that's missing. But when you struggle in the meditation, you start tapping into your inner self. What happens? That protein appears. This is why they call them the pseudogenes. All right, they call them pseudogenes because they're saying that this is not right. These people have junk DNA. Their DNA is broken. It's non-coding. It doesn't have a coding sequence. We're nature. You can't literally try to explain nature. I'm pretty sure the brothers and sisters in the church, even though they're dancing and singing and whatever else, that DNA becomes active. Just like when we go into our state and we begin to tap into that inner energy and we begin to go towards our most spiritual state, into the astral projection and astral traveling, it opens up. When you can communicate with the spirit realm as you go into the spirit realm, that DNA activates. So the only way to heal or to feel that is to always want to remain in a spiritual state of mind. That's the junk DNA. All right. And the only way that you're going to awaken this is becoming the mystical energy, becoming the mystical powers. What can also activate this is when you deal with your crystals. All right. With the metals around them. When you're doing your yoga, your tai chi, your chi exercises, when you do your deep breath exercises, you go into that spiritual state. You're just doing a deep breathing exercise and you're focusing on the spirit realm. This activates that, what you call junk DNA. All right, you understand this? So it's important, brothers and sisters, that you as a whole remain in a spiritual state of mind. And those non-coding proteins, what these white scientists say, become active. They become active. And therefore, the mystical mindset, because that mystical energy literally fulfills everything that's within us. All right, everything that's broken, it literally seals it all together. So you have broken DNA, it means they have tapped into that. You have tapped into that. Like they said, the junk DNA is non-coding. You got to understand when it says non-coding, it doesn't match up to mankind's coding. But the eukaryotic cell, is what they talking about in the junk DNA, the eukaryotic cell. The prokaryotic is that's that other, that's them. That's then you have the eukaryotic cell, which means you have the ability to go into a higher state of mind, and the DNA that's within us begins to awaken, and it brings us into a higher state of power. You understand this? So the mystical energies awakens the junk DNA, what they call the junk DNA. When you're mystical, when you tap into the mystics, and you tap into this energy within you, you link into the avatar. You're talking about Dragon Ball Z. You're talking about X-Men, Superman, all this, what you call the Marvel and the comics and the shows or whatever. That's literally showing us in the olden days when we were more mystical. And this is why we have a whole system right now that's designed to keep us in a sleep state so that we won't be mystical, so that we will sleep on this powerful energy within us, so that we go on this keep our DNA inactive. But our DNA has gone into an active mode, and it's the only way it goes into active mode is you go within yourself. You're a temple. You are the temple. You're a walking temple. And when you're in the power of yourself up, what do? You go inside the temple. So you're in yourself. We talked about earlier, your spirit become your flesh, and your flesh become your spirit. You become one. All throughout everything, you're the soul. All right? So the mystical powers, your mystical abilities, literally activate what's called the junk DNA. This is the only way that you're going to take yourself into the higher power. This is the only way you're going to take yourself into a higher energy. This is the only thing you're going to awaken everything within you, because this junk DNA, what you call junk DNA, is literally a line of ancestral proteins. It's a program. They've taken DNA samples and they've put it on a computer chip, and we're going to go into it. They're going to take DNA samples and put it on a computer chip, and put on a computer chip and show the DNA samples we'll have right inside of our bodies. You have random access memory, you read-it-only memory. We got programs, we got program writers, we got motherboard, we got mainframe. Yeah. Just like the computer cells. We have cells. Computer cells, we have cells. But you have to go within yourself too. Write and rewrite some of those cells. You got to go within yourself to change the cell function. You change, you rewrite, you recode your DNA. All right. So in order for you to match our DNA, you must become mystic. Must come in their mystical abilities. Mystic is an introvert. It goes within themselves. Metaphysics, meta means insight within. Physics means the inside, the physical. Metaphysics goes inside the physics. The physical goes inside the physical vessel. You got to understand everything on the outside So our mystical abilities awakens our junk DNA, and when you awaken the junk DNA, you tap into a full spectrum of energy. You tap into every spectrum of color, because each color has a frequency. Each frequency has a vibration. Each vibration carries a different energy. Each energy is attached to a different ether. It goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on, and that's how everything is operated. All right, so your meditation is important, and it's important to understand the mystics. I'm gonna do a part 2 possibly to what is a mystic. I'm gonna do a part 2 to that, so everyone gets a better understanding if you don't understand what a mystic is. So give me a little time. I'll try to get it done today so you can understand what a mystic is, because the whole key point of us is us becoming more powerful within ourselves. Entertainment is over. Now it's time for education. All right. All power to multi-celestial angelic beings. May chaos reign within you and forever and ever. Remember, brothers and sisters, chaos is everything. All right. Let's get this junk DNA into an active proteins. I'll catch you guys later. Much power to you all.